welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. This is Ben Olson. With me is Nathan Fox. We're going to tackle an email today, right, from Melissa.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and dive in?
Yeah, okay. This looks like a wall of text, by the way.
It
How
is.
did this get through your filter?
I know. And I just, I really appreciate people who email us daily at lsatdemon.com, by the way, if you would like to get on an episode of Demon Daily. And I do my standard response, just like yours. You had one yesterday where you responded and said, hey, make this, 1/3 as long. And
It
I
came back
actually,
1/2 as long
I
and then
know.
no paragraphs. I was like, what?
I know. I laughed. I did the word count on it. I was like, that's half as long. That's not 1/3 as long. Anyway, try to avoid the wall of text, please. But let's see if Ben can read this
Sure.
one relatively
Yeah.
quickly.
Okay, so Melissa says, hi, Ben and Nathan. I'm a recent McMaster University graduate and reside in Toronto, Canada. I'm a big fan of the podcast, and I'm hoping to save enough money to sign up for a Demon subscription soon. Oh, that's nice to hear. I applied at the very end of the current cycle, and I'm still waiting to hear back from 2 law schools in Ontario. I didn't do thorough research and wasn't aware of the impact that applying late in the cycle can have until I listened to your podcast. Thank you both for being so open and honest about LSAT preparation and law school admissions. Yeah, no problem. I'm confident in my ability to improve my LSAT score and will soon begin to study to retake the LSAT before October 2021 and reapply at the beginning of the next cycle. Wait, so right there, I guess I'm wondering why not take August, right?
Yeah.
Or
People always put it way out there. Like, I've got to make sure that I have 6 months in between now and the test date. But you already took the official LSAT. Why not get back on the horse sooner?
Yeah. Yeah. She continues, my cold diagnostic score was in the mid 140s, which is very normal, by the way. That's where
Yep.
most people seem to start. And my highest practice test score is 157. Okay. My official score on the January 2021 LSAT was a disappointing 151.
That's not that disappointing. The highest you've ever scored is 157. 151 is clearly right in the middle of your range.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not what you hope for, but it shouldn't be disappointing compared to your practice test record. You shouldn't be expecting to score your highest score ever on the official test.
Okay. But objectively speaking, right, it's disappointing in the sense that you're not going to be able to go anywhere great with a 151.
That's not
You
a
do need
score
to
that
do
you
more.
should go to law school with.
Yeah. I particularly enjoy hearing both of you go through listeners' personal statements on the podcast. Upon reflection of my own statement, I realized it was garbage.
Nice.
Okay. This is actually pretty well written, despite its wall of text-iness.
Yeah.
So I assume, Melissa, you're a stronger writer than most. My main struggle is figuring out what I should focus on. I don't exactly have a list of recent accomplishments I can talk about, as the past 4 years of my life have been dedicated to working full-time while being in school full-time. Okay.
How's that not?
Yeah, that's like a huge field of potential. Working full-time, you got to be solving some problems. You got to be doing some good. I've attached my unpolished resume in this email if you'd like to take a look. While I've had success at my workplace, I don't know if there is enough substance for me to write my personal statement on. Again, I think she's probably just over dramatizing what she thinks she has to write about. It doesn't have to be dramatic. I've worked my way up to be the bar supervisor at my restaurant, lead server, collaborated with brand executives to improve the music atmosphere for all locations across Canada and in New York. Damn, right there. Okay, let's talk about that. And I was offered a store management position, but turned it down as I have bigger plans for my life. I don't know that you need to talk about that. Although I was very excited about the collaboration with the brand executives, the music committee had to be paused due to the pandemic and has remained inactive. While I certainly have had unique positions and worked hard to get where I am, I'm struggling to find a hard topic to base my personal statement on. Um,
Write
hard
about
topic?
work. Write
Just write
about
about work. Write
work.
about how you set up this plan and then had to change it for the pandemic. That itself is adaptation. The world is constantly changing. You're encountering problems and you're solving them. That's all you're doing. That's all you're showing. And it doesn't have to be grandiose.
I am a full-time bar manager and full-time student, period.
Let's go from there.
Then go back to I did, then talk about I do. This could be an excellent personal statement. It does not have to be dramatic, crazy achievements.
It does not have to be a hard, notice she
No,
uses the word
write about
hard
work.
topic.
Working your ass off is the main descriptor, or like the main skill of being a lawyer is you're able to work harder than everybody else.
And several hours a week, right?
Yeah, harder and longer.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're working full time and going to school full time by itself is a personal statement topic. Like you know what it's like. You're willing to make the sacrifices
What is
to
your
work
day
your
in
ass off.
life like? Do you get up and work, or do you get up and go to school and then go and work at night? It sounds like what you probably do. There's plenty to talk about there.
Just spin it positively. Like show yourself kicking ass, just not like kicking ass like a action movie, but like kicking ass, like doing a solid, good job as a bar supervisor
Yeah.
is great. Talk about being excited about what you do
Yep.
and
She
just
can.
demonstrate yourself going in and working every day and then going to school, sounds like, after that. But be
Yeah.
happy and excited and doing and achieving. You don't need to, like, I feel like this Melissa's kind of defensive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like protesting too much. I was offered a promotion, but I turned it down because I want to do something different with my life. Okay, no, talk about what you do
Yep.
and just make it positive. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, she continues. I have been working since I was 14 years old, mainly in restaurants, and I am now 23 years old. Okay. Toward the end of my application process, I began to panic and paid a guy I found on Wizant about $500 Canadian dollars to edit my personal statement for me. He is well known for speaking at the top 10 law schools in the US about law school admissions and has been a member of several admissions committees.
Okay.
What? He's like a floating admissions officer?
This guy's no kind of baller if he's editing personal statements for $500, by the way.
Yeah.
Like the guy's holding himself out as some sort of international expert. I speak at the top 10 law schools about law school admissions. But he's willing to work one-on-one on your personal statement for that amount of money. I mean, that's like his hourly rate is like $25 an hour. He could be good, but he's not like a, serious killer or anything.
Yeah. I don't really have an opinion on the personal statement he edited as I was rushing through the application process and haven't talked to anyone about it besides him. I want to write a brand new personal statement as my original one sounds like a pity party. Okay, well, sounds like you do have an opinion about your personal statement. It's not good. If you have any suggestions for areas of my life that I can focus on for my new personal statement, I would greatly appreciate it. Hopefully, this email and my resume is sufficient to provide you any sort of guidance. I think we're already giving you that guidance. It's from your work, it's from your school. You don't need a special experience. Like you have a lot here.
You worked your way up starting at age 14. You worked your way up from line cook at home style fish and chips through now being a bar supervisor at this bigger chain of restaurants. Meanwhile, you also graduated honors list all 4 years and got your bachelor's. That's super duper lawyerly. You could tell that story in a plain spoken way, that looks that you could just be humble and positive and happy about your contributions that you've made to the world and proud of your achievement to graduate from college while working full time. Yeah.
Check this out. Yeah, she talks about overseeing labor costs, restaurant sales, food quality, and guest satisfaction. Any one of those you could unpack and tell us what you're doing to make that successful. I mean, I
Yeah.
know that the collaborating with brand executives like maybe felt sexy and, it was going to affect all these restaurants. But these other things are lawyerly.
Yeah.
Leading the store's loyalty program, organizing membership details, and strengthening client relationships, coordinating member appreciation events. One event, coordinating an event can itself be a whole process. Does it go off well? Does it falter and fall flat? Um, I don't know. There's a lot of things in here that require skills. They require attention to detail. They require focus. They require dependability, right? That's why people gave you these responsibilities. Employers don't give responsibility to people who aren't going to carry the ball. And so, I don't know. There's a lot in here.
Yeah. I think proud of you should be proud of what you've achieved, and you should just be plain spoken and humble but optimistic about being a full-time, your brand. If somebody's going to walk away and make an elevator pitch on your behalf, when they go to that committee and they have to say, okay, I really want to admit Melissa. Who's Melissa? Well, Melissa is a full-time employee who worked since she was 14, worked her way up to management positions. Oh, by the way, went back to college and got her bachelor's full time while working full time. Full stop. I don't need to know anything more about Melissa. That's it. You're in.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, a couple tips for her resume.
Make it shorter.
Make it shorter. Cut career objective entirely. You're applying to law school, which means you're obviously trying to get into a legal career. Also, here at the end, a bunch of your skills are just telling. Excellent interpersonal communication and collaboration skills. Okay, anyone could write that.
Yeah.
Self-motivated, reliable, organized. Just cut all that. And I'm not sure that you need the references part. So,
Oh, you should just cut a lot of this stuff. I mean, unless it's like different for Canadians and you're supposed to have a 2-page resume or something. I think you could cut this down to 1 page. Things like there's a general volunteer thing here under volunteer work, and it's a thing that you did for just the month of June 2013. I mean, for one thing, that's 10 years ago. For another, it's you did it for a month. I mean, it sounds like you went to one festival.
yeah,
Shit
it's a
like
long
that.
time ago. And yeah,
You can cut that. Even under work experience. Do you see the line filing clerk, receptionist at the Mazda dealership?
yeah, for a few months.
As a few months while also you had a different job. You don't need to list every single this is not a background check. I don't
Yeah.
think it's necessary that you list every part-time job you ever had.
Hmm.
I mean, you
Yeah.
might have to on an application, but I don't think you have to on your resume. Resume is supposed to be like a snapshot of your relevant experiences.
Yeah.
I think a lot of this stuff could be cut.
Well,
Even,
in particular because it's so long ago, right? I mean, like, I don't know, it's not.
but I would also cut the Uber Eats thing. It muddies up the waters. It undercuts the value of your bar supervisor job.
Sure.
to say, oh, I also, I've been going to school and I also have been driving for Uber Eats for the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Eh, we don't need any of that. Like, just cut it down. Leave the best things and just let them shine by getting rid of all of the muddy stuff.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for writing in, Melissa. Good luck, and hopefully we can see your personal statement someday. You can email questions at daily@lsatdemon.com and write into the show and tell us what you think we should say at the end of this podcast. Thank you very much.